Hello there and welcome to the Card Grotto. Today I'm hot foiling and stenciling using Yana's Tulips collection from Spellbinders. So let's get started. I'm using the Spellbinders Tulips and Daffodils press and hot foil plate today for my image. I'm going to hot foil it onto some Neenah Classic Crest 110 solar white cardstock using Spellbinders matte gold glimmer hot foil. So I'm just placing my plate down onto the foil so that I can see what size I need to cut this foil down to. I'll be honest with you, I'm being a little bit messier here than I ordinarily would be, but these scissors from Spellbinders, these large scissors, are really great for cutting foil. It just cuts it really nicely. Like I say, I'm not doing the best job here on camera because I am kind of speeding through this, but ordinarily I would try and cut those pieces off so that I could keep them, especially for like little sentiments and things like that. It's quite helpful having small bits of extra foil laying around. I have my plate face down onto the shiny side up of the foil that's onto the cardstock. I'm holding that down with Best Ever craft tape. I like to kind of create a sandwich like I would do if I was die cutting. This is just to make sure that the plate or the foil doesn't accidentally shift while I'm moving it about on my Glimmer hot foil system and then running it through my die cutting machine. I have already foiled this plate and I know that the bud that's underneath where I'm adding this tape onto doesn't particularly get a great impression with my machine. This is purely just because I've obviously not got as much pressure on that side of either my Glimmer hot foil machine or onto my Platinum 6, and so I'm just adding a little bit of that tape, and that kind of like 2 layers of that tends to add a little bit of extra pressure, kind of like a shim, but I just felt that the tape is a little bit easier for me because then I can just leave that tape on the back of the plate when I keep it in my pocket for next time, and it's always kind of ready to go. So my platform is heated up. I've now pressed that timer button and that is going to heat up that plate. So the plate is against the platform of the Glimmer hot foil system so it can heat up. A lot of people like to put their shims on at this point for the Glimmer hot foil system. I don't tend to do that. This is just what works best for me. Everyone does seem to foil in a slightly different way. So if you're new to foiling, you just want to find the method that happens to work for you. So that button for the timer, you can see that that green light is flashing. Once it goes solid green, that means that the platform is ready to go and you can run it through your die cutting machine. However, for me, this is the first time that I have used the Glimmer hot foil system today, and I like to heat my plates up twice if I'm using it for the first time, especially if I've got a large plate like it is today. So I have press the timer button, let that heat up for another round. I can then add a paper shim on the top. Again, I need a little bit of extra pressure for my machines. And then the 2 plastic shims that come with the Glimmer hot foil system on top. I can then run that through my Platinum 6 die cutting machine. That is going to press the foil down onto that cardstock, and then I've also got the heat from the Glimmer hot foil system that's also going to help as well. I can then flip over that sandwich and then I can pop that down onto my craft mat here, and I've also got that silicone mat ready to go so that I can place my plate down onto it. As I'm lifting up this tape, I'm kind of sort of pushing it back on itself, if that makes sense, just to make sure that I don't get any ripping of the cardstock. But this tape does heat up quite nicely and it does tend to remove quite nicely when you've used it with the Glimmer hot foil system. I'm then going to use one of those pieces of tape to lift up that plate and the foil, and then I can pop it on that silicone mat to cool down. It is quite hot at this point, so I just want to be careful of my fingers just to make sure that I don't burn myself. I have got a tiny little bit of overfoiling on my image, which is absolutely fine. To be honest with you, most of the time I can just remove it with a finger and it just lifts off really nicely, but I am just going to bring in my craft knife here just to kind of scrape off that foil a little bit. So I scrape it off and then remove the excess there with my finger, and I've just got a really nice thin image without any of that overfoiling around the edges. That's usually why I also like to cut off the corners of the foil as well. I tend to find that if I have excess foil around an image, that's the place that's more likely going to get the overfoiling. But you can see that really nice pretty foiled image there. I can now bring in the coordinating stencils to colour in the image using ink blending. So I have placed the first stencil over the image and I'm holding that down with some low tack tape. I've also held my cardstock piece down onto some scrap paper as well with some low tack tape, just to make sure that everything's staying in place while I do this ink blending. You can definitely do this with a sticky mat as well, but when I've got a large piece of cardstock, I tend to prefer to just stick it down to some scrap paper. I'm then going to bring in my yellow inks to colour in the daffodils. So this is the Altenew Golden Sunset Fresh Dye ink collection, and I'm using an Altenew mini blending brush. I am dabbing off the excess ink from my brush. This is just down to habit really, but the idea is so that you get a nice smooth blend with that ink. Sometimes if I don't dab off, I have like a big splodge of ink where I place the brush down. I am trying to kind of start on the stencil material and then work the brush onto the actual cardstock itself. So I've started off with Sunray and then I've added a little bit of chamomile. I'm trying to have the base of these flower centres be the darkest and then lighten up to the tips. So I can then go in with Snapdragon. This is a little bit more of an orange tone. And then I can go in with terracotta, but I've switched to a micro blending brush here just so that I don't add too much of this colour. I didn't want them to be really dark, but I do want to have that nice contrast between the shades. I am also taking this colour a little bit further down to try and make it so that the edges of these flower centres look more rounded. I wasn't particularly happy with how that flower there at the top looked, so I'm just going to remove the excess darker ink from around the sides of that stencil. I can then bring in the chamomile and the mini blending brush again, and I'm just going to add a little bit more of that chamomile ink towards the bottom just so it blends in with that terracotta ink a little bit better, and I got a smoother blend that time. So I can then remove the tape and then I can remove that first stencil. I can then bring in the second stencil, and again I'm going to hold that down with some low tack tape. I am also going to add a little bit of memo tape towards the top there, just to hide those tulips, just to make sure that I don't accidentally get ink on those because I want those to be pink. I can now go in and add the colour to the petals, and I do want the petals to be a little bit lighter than the flower centres. I'm starting off again with the Sunray colour. And this time I'm focusing it so that the colour is at the base of the petals and then the tips can be almost white. So I'm just adding a small amount of that Sunray to start with. I'm then going in with chamomile and again just adding this towards the base of those petals. I do want to make sure here that I'm using a soft blending brush. I do find that sometimes if I use brushes with kind of like stiffer bristles, that sometimes it does remove a little bit of the foil when I'm doing ink blending over foil. I'm using the Altenew blending brushes. Not only are these really soft, but because I'm using Altenew inks here, I do tend to just use the brushes that I use the inks with the most, if that makes sense. But the Spellbinders brushes are really lovely and really soft, especially the really big ones, but I don't have that many of them, so I just opted for the Altenew brushes. But I did just want to mention that I do find that the softer the brush the better when I'm doing ink blending over foiling. So I've added in the Sunray, the chamomile and the Snapdragon for the petals. I didn't add in the terracotta, and I did also just add the Snapdragon in with the micro blending brush just so that I didn't add too much of that colour. Like I say, I wanted those to be a little bit lighter than the flower centres. For the tulips here at the top, I'm going in with Altenew Bubblegum Dreams Fresh Dye ink collection. So I'm starting off with baby pink, and then I can go in with fuchsia. Again, using that mini blending brush. Again, just adding the darker colour towards the base of the petals. I can then go in with a micro blending brush and just add a little bit of magenta towards the bottom. I can then remove that tape and then also that stencil. And then I can go in with the third stencil, and this colours in the rest of those petals and then also the tulip petals as well. So again, I did the exact same thing for the other petals. Started off with Sunray, went in with Chamomile, and then I went in with Snapdragon using that micro blending brush. And then for the tulips, I started off with the baby pink. I then went in with fuchsia, followed by a little bit of that magenta. And I really love how vibrant all of these inks are. So I can remove that stencil and it's coming together quite nicely. I've just got the two last stencils for the leaves and the stems. So for these, I'm using the Altenew Green Valley Fresh Dye Ink collection. I'm starting off with Firefly, and again using the mini blending brush. Just trying to sort of cover these leaves. I am leaving it so that the tips of the leaves are a little bit lighter and the base of the leaves are a little bit darker. I can then go in with Grassfield. And then I'm going to finish off with Shadow Creek. And again, I've switched to a micro blending brush just because I didn't want too much of this colour. I did want it to be quite a bit darker towards the really kind of bottom of this panel, but otherwise I didn't want to have too much contrast to these leaves. So I can finish off with the last stencil, and again I'm just using the same colours, the Firefly, the Grassfield and the Shadow Creek. And some of these stems are really quite small, so it was quite easy maybe for me to miss a few areas, so I did go back and just add in a little bit of extra colour on some of those. I can then go in with that Grassfield, and then for the Shadow Creek I ended up just using the residual ink that was left on the brush, because for these ones I didn't want them to be as dark. I can then remove that last stencil. And then I've got all of my ink blending complete. I think it looks really pretty and really vibrant with those colours. I'm then going to cut this panel down into an oval. So I'm using the Spellbinders Essential Stylish Ovals Etched dies. I wanted to create an oval shaped card today. So I'm just figuring out the placement of where I want this die to be. And then I can hold it down with some low tack tape. And then run that through my die cutting machine. I've now cut another one of those ovals to create the card base. Sometimes I like to create a card base in its entirety and then add a panel on top. Sometimes I just like to kind of have the front part just be the card base itself, if that makes sense. And that's what I'm doing in this instance. So I've just cut a little bit off of the bottom of this oval, and now I'm scoring a line towards the top, and that's going to create a hinge. The reason I've cut a little bit off of the bottom is so that it's going to stand up nicely. It is sometimes quite fun having like shaped cards, especially like circles and ovals, kind of tilt a little bit, but most of the time I do like them to stand up straight, so I tend to just cut a little bit off of the bottom. I've then added some double-sided tape on that hinge there at the top, just where that, above where that score line is. And then I can bring in my front panel and then I can adhere that together, just trying to line them up as best as possible. And then once I'm happy, I can press that down. I'm then going to open the card and just fold that back so that it's going to open and close really nicely. I am just going to make sure that that stands up okay. And then I'm just going to reinforce that kind of hinge there at the back so that it doesn't open as much and it just stands up a little bit nicer. I have then hot foiled 2 sentiments from the Spellbinders Bouquet of Hugs Sentiments Press and Foil and Die set, and I wasn't sure exactly which one I wanted to use for this card, so I hot foiled both of them, and then I'm just using the coordinating dies to cut them out, and then I'll figure out which one I think looks best on the card. So I've just run those through my die cutting machine, and I used the same matte gold glimmer hot foil that I used on the image. So I think this one does look quite pretty, but I decided in the end to use the other one. The one that says the hugs that I put on first, I did actually use on a card for the Spellbinders blog using this plate. I pressed it instead of hot foiled it. So if hot foiling isn't your thing and you prefer pressing, do head over to the Spellbinders blog tomorrow and I'll have a step-by-step tutorial on how I made that card. So I decided to go with a different sentiment today. So I'm just adding some thin foam tape onto the back of this. Sometimes I do like to cut out the die again multiple times and kind of layer them up. And sometimes I like to use foam tape. I think it just depends on how I'm feeling on the day. So I've cut small pieces of that foam tape, removed the backings off of that, and then I can pop that down onto the card. And I'm just going to pop it down really lightly to start with. I can then bring in my T-square ruler and I'm just going to make sure that that then is straight. And I did just have to maneuver that a little bit to straighten that up. And then I'm going to finish off by embellishing with some Spellbinders Gold Mix Colour Essentials gems. I thought that the gold would work really nicely with that gold foil. So just placing a few of those down. I couldn't figure out where I wanted the last one to be. Ended up going there towards the bottom. And so that's the card finished for today. I did use the matte foil. This is because I tend to prefer the foil not to be so shiny. But you can see that when you tilt it in the light, it does still give that lovely glimmer of foil. Links to the products that I used will be listed in the description bar on YouTube and also over on my blog. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon.